Yeah, what's up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video, another episode of Everybody Hates Black Men. I am your host, Edward Anderson. I know I say that it's redundant, but at this point, it's a force of habit. So anyway, I know it's late. It's late as fuck. Um, but I want to get this out here. I know there's other people, a lot of people that's online right now in the West Coast, but I want to get this out here. Shout out to BGS. It's actually going to be a promo for BGS's video because it's definitely needed. I know he was probably doing it, responding to some dumbass that wants to make basically make the same bullshit. They wanna make the same bullshit arguments. They want to read some shit but not have reading comprehension. So BGS did. In fact, let me take this bullshit off so I can show you. I got the link in the description. So definitely, and we're not gonna go through it. I just wanted to show it to you all. You know, basically promote it because this is very important because a lot of what I do, my whole channel, the mission statement of my channel, the core mission statement, even if I like start doing more celebrity stuff and wrapping my kind of stuff, my Edward Anderson isms into that to drive growth, the core of this channel is talking about the gynocracy. And the reason why the gynocracy needs to be talked about is not because I have any real belief that it'll be overturned. It is so you can understand how these things turn in order to better understand what you need to do as an individual. Because a lot of dudes are basically sacrificing their entire lives for lies. The lie that black men and black women are actually on the same team and on the same page. This has nothing to do with me hating black women or me wanting to undermine black women because it ain't about them. It's about you. And it's about you really understanding that a lot of what you've been fed is predicated on shit that's just straight up bullshit. It's not true. And it's not just black women that raised you to believe these things. A lot of black men actively promote the lie, and they actively promote the lie knowing it's a lie. They actually promote the lie to black men knowing it's a lie, but they believe that they're doing it for the greater good of the community. They're sacrificing you today for a better community tomorrow. And they know this. This is why they're always, when they talk to people that actually understand this shit, they end up, you know, they end up either running the fuck away, they end up trolling, or they end up just ignoring folks because they understand that if they go over there, the truth is over there. And roaches don't. I'm not trying to call nobody a roach. It's gonna come out bad, but roaches don't like the light. And so, and when you're coming in there with the bullshit, you're gonna have a natural like tendency is going to be to run away from the light, especially if it doesn't serve your agenda. And this is not just pro blacks. Is the black. This is a lot of folks. And when you actually survey this shit, especially amongst the black men, you realize. I mean, niggas is just the level of cap is just beyond insane. And one of the things is there's a reason why I don't use, like, shout out to Adam. There's a reason why I don't use terms like community because quite frankly, I'm not here, and I'm gonna say personally, I'm not here. And shout out to Xanatos Clutch because I know he does that, and I know this is a way of making fun of people. It's a way of making fun of people. It's more a way of making light of a situation. But I've never been one to shy away from the brutal and honest truth of something because that's when a lot of the breakthroughs and a lot of the growth comes in. And so I don't try to sugarcoat it with like the community and this and that. No, this is serious business to me. This stuff matters. And a lot of times, so I try to take out the trolling in it. Because I'm like, let's go down the cards. Let's see if you're gonna, not you, Adam, but I'm talking about if people are gonna be the pro black, you're gonna be the pro black that's gonna show me something I haven't already seen. Because what a lot of people don't understand is that, and not just BGS, there's other folks that I've looked at and learned from too. They don't understand that the people I've looked at, they're more pro black than they are, and they know more than they are. And then obviously I'm very solid. I'm an intelligent very smart person, intelligent person, and I'm a critical thinker. And I'm willing to say what something is. I'm not going to use morality to basically bend my stuff. Not, at least not to the truth, because I don't lie to myself. I don't lie. See, that's the one thing a lot of folks do. They lie to themselves first. And black folks, black men and black women, they have an incredible, and this is not just them, obviously. We know it's not just them, but we're talking about in our community. They have a very incredible capacity to lie to themselves. And I'm going to tell you, I just came off of a stream that I did a couple of hours ago talking about, 8-0s and 9-8-0s. One thing about 9-8-0s don't be lying to themselves. Not when it comes to dealing with us. They may lie to themselves when it comes to that white man, but they don't lie to themselves when it comes to dealing with, like, we have an incredible capacity to lie to ourselves. This is why a lot of folks can kind of throw the bullshit out there with as much conviction, because they've already lied to themselves. It's kind of like if you look at the Matrix, you look at Neo, where he's looking at that mirror and apparently he's older than what he is, and then it's like this is what Negroes do. They lie to themselves first. Black men get it from black women, and that's why a lot of black men come in here with this morality conviction, because they want to sell you this bullshit. See, when I talk about like white supremacy, I'm not interested. I don't really care if you believe it or not. I'm just telling you this is the motivations why I do what I do. This is why I map things the way that I map. This is why I don't have this thing where I just trust white people or non-black people and I turn a blind eye. I don't turn a blind eye to anybody. I don't turn a blind eye to you niggas because of because Highlander syndrome. I don't turn a blind eye to non-blacks because, for lack of a better term, I understand how tribalism works. And and if I don't become useful to them at the individual level, I know what can happen. And America is very cutthroat. Shout out to what is this? I forget dude that made the Atlanta TV show, Childish Gambino. When you talk about This Is America, but one of the myths that I've heard people propagate, and I know the people that propagate this know this isn't true. I'm not gonna name names because that's not important, but it is some people that I do fuck with, that they like to propagate. And this is what the bitches like to hear, quite frankly, is this idea that Sysbm and the Black Divester movement is the same. No, it is not. It doesn't have the same motivations. It doesn't have the same origin. It is not the same. It is not. It's maybe 10% similar. It is not the same. It is not the same. And what we like to do is we like to act like children, where we like to create these myths of things being very similar because we like to equalize it. Shit can't never be all black women's fault. Shit can be all black men's fault, but shit can't never be 90% black women's fault. It just can't. Black people have this mentality that if a black woman takes the last shot in the game, it's got to be everybody's fault that no, fuck that. If a black woman had to shoot 3 free throws and they had to make two in order to win the game, they miss all 3, so you lose the game by a point. It's everybody's fault that she was in that situation. Now, you put a black man in that same situation, it's his fault that he didn't win the game. This is the mentality of the black community, the 8-0's black community. And so what we like to do is we like to deflect by equalizing things. Oh, it's not all her fault because everything she does, it's got to be a man that drives her to the decisions to make those decisions. Because a lot of these guys, it's not about looking at women like children. Some dudes believe that, but a lot of dudes do use that as a smokescreen in order to remove accountability from women. This is why women can kill their own children. You call it mental illness. This is why you can kill your own children. I mean, like, that's some shit white men do, and at least white men have the decency to kill them. When white men kill their family, they have the decency to kill themselves and actually follow through with it. Those black women don't do that. Black women don't do murder suicide. Have y'all noticed that? When's the last time you just seen a black female do a murder suicide? No, they just go into this mental daze where they try to pretend, like Cocoon, where they try to pretend that they're mentally no. And if somebody that knows what mental illness looks like and seen it up close, I know the difference between somebody that's really off and somebody they may be off, but they trying to play real off. But anyway, that's not for this. My point is, let me stay on topic. So BGS has this video up here, and this video, and I really wish I had Professor Black Truth had a video called "Black Women You're Fired," and this is back when Donald Trump was first getting elected. Yo, this was like in the first 90 days. This was a beautiful video, and I really, because they always attacking this channel, I really wish I would have downloaded that shit. That's one of the few things that I regret because that shit was beautiful. Oh, by the way, if for BGS, if you go into BGS's channel and you talk about and you search Jason Black in the gynocracy, let me actually pull that up too. This is in the description. I'm going to link that in the description too, just so you all know that even somebody that says fuck the black manosphere, so they don't necessarily have the same opinions that we have, they still understand the same thing. Jason Black. You just got to type in Jason Black in the Yep, this is 4 years old at this point. He's actually got two. Sisterhood of Failure, but this is a good one. Here's the old shit.
Jason Black is an equal opportunity critic. He goes in. So I tried to excerpt some pieces out of it.
In fact, let's go through, even though this is not the main video I want you to see, let's go through, let's do a little bit of go through this video, because I want you to understand that this is not new. Like the video Jason BGS is done now, the video BGS does now is an updated video with the updated information, because it accounts for the fact that black women are having more babies than black men, which means they're having babies by other races of men, which I don't have a problem with that. But the point is, you know, obviously they're not really getting married like that. But the idea that black women are loyal and that they're in it to be together, they're not. That's not what's going on. But my point is, well, it's not the same talking points. The truth is the truth. So the reason why I want to share this is because this is a 4-year-old video, and he's got another, BGS got another one that's 3 years old, right? So this is a 4-year-old video. So this is like a year maybe after I created my own channel. So this is like, I'm letting y'all know, because this is for the new people, for like CJM, NBC, y'all. Some of y'all that may have come from other spots. This is back when Kevin had maybe like 25,000 subs, maybe 20. This is, see, back in the day shit, back in the Google Hangout days, you know. And I want y'all to understand, this isn't just some shit that we just have been saying. This is really the halfway point. This isn't even like early. This is halfway. And I want y'all to really understand that the stuff that BGS is saying is not relatively new. Now, he put updated information because he was responding to somebody else. But the point is BGS in that other video goes through the entire history of it, saying that this shit goes all the way back to the slavery and goes into why. That black women did not come here to work. They came here to have babies, which is actually is a lie that a lot of your black women will tell you. They will tell you that they suffered under the same crushing weight of slavery as black men. That is a lie. They have not been enslaved for as long, and they did not go into, and they black women have been slaves for a third of the time that black men were. That's the real truth. And the real truth is black women have never dealt with shit in the same way that black men have dealt with it. Black women have always occupied this kind of status that black men have not occupied, because black women are not a threat. Black men are. So when black women try to guilt you into believing that guilt you into believing that everything they go through has to do with you, that is a lie. And that is a lie that a lot of them know is a lie. But they still push it because it benefits them. And so when you see a lot of these women and they talk about us coming together, they talk that shit because it benefits them in the moment. And when it stops benefiting them, they will stop doing it. The mayor of San Francisco is a black woman. She's with an Asian dude. Like, if these women can get non-black men and they're on it, they will do it. Kamala, do not. And Kamala, and by the way, the Asian woman was actually not Asian woman, the black woman, she was actually in scandal maybe a while ago, maybe because she had an affair with her Asian husband with a black dude. We know Kamala's history. So these are not women that just say fuck black men. These are people that are playing a game. and they want to guilt you into a certain box. You see this all the time. And dudes do the same. And black men, because like David Carroll says, because they work for that bitch, they do the same thing. So anyway, let me play this a little bit so y'all can hear it.
But there is no response to a work of art.
No ego to inflate or offend.
Causes coonery.
And you know how Jason Black feels about us. But I want y'all to hear that this ain't just some shit that I just got from BGS or some shit that I've, there's multiple people that are saying, they just don't say it all the time.
You on the other side.
Absolutely nobody has said this before. You hear this here tonight. You will hear this echo around.
Oh my God. Of course he's going to say that, but that's not true. But whatever. That doesn't matter.
In the world, as people adopt this as their philosophy, and I have no ego to inflate or offend, so it will not bother me one way or the other.
Keep in mind that Jason, now just the FYI, he's the same person saying we kissing ass to the white men. Somehow we're stealing content from white men, but we're also stealing his content from him too. But whatever.
But remember where you heard this, one of the key cores of coonery is matriarchy. Understand that. This dysfunctional attempt to identify with the mother, a broken, shattered, corrupted mother image. It is the dysfunctional attempt at identifying with that, which you will see at the core and in the heart of all coons when you get down to it. When you drill down to it and get to the core of it, what you start to see is that these are individuals who are not able to have.
FYI, this is a 4-year-old video. So this was in 2016, 2016.
A functional relationship with their fathers because they have a dysfunctional idolatry of their mothers. And any coon you can name, Barack Obama had nothing but bad things to say about his father. Oh, the Black channel is going 10 ton tonight. It is so damn heavy. It really is. We're going so damn heavy tonight. Barack Obama had nothing but venom and bad things to say about his father. Your white mammy chose him, but yet they're not birds of a feather. So let me get this straight. Your white mother chose this African during a time when she could have been lynched and everything else. But you are to tell me that your mother and your father were not birds of a feather. Let me explain this to you right now. Let me break this down into some street language here, some street logic, so you all can actually understand how this works. I was watching, there's that movie Paid in Full. And you got to understand, when you're dealing with a situation like a Paid in Full, American Gangster about Frank Lucas, Nicky Barnes or whatever, there's something you all need to understand. When you're dealing with these mobster stories, there ain't no good guys in those equations. They're all bad guys. These are all people who would blow your damn brains out if you stood between them and $1. That's what they do. That's the situation. So this idea that somehow, some way, you can have a room full of criminals, but there's a couple of guys in there who are absolutely not criminal-minded. The rest of you fellas, y'all are criminals and thugs, but my mom, who shows up every day and goes on the capers with you, she's not a criminal and a thug too. No, if your daddy is a no-good son of a bee and your mama chose him, of all the men she could have chosen, she was not an indentured servant. She chose him because that's the kind of nigga she liked. And she didn't have a problem with it until the weight became so heavy and the burden became so overbearing that now the thugs, Miss Sister Thug, don't like thug life no more. But it's not because she's...
Yeah, and this is when they want to come to your ass. This is where, and I'm not saying, this is where they want to come to your ass in the spirit of cooperation, collaboration, and see what they won't tell you. And this is where somebody like Crimson Cure will tell you that they won't tell you. I would say Pink Book would say this too. They won't say, no, you got to restart. They won't say that those women have to go whatever lane they need to go. They're like salvage titles. You don't buy a salvage title. You don't sell a title. Like dealerships can't really sell, like normal dealerships can't sell salvage titles. They have to be carted off in like a special market. It's not easy to sell a salvage title car because you're really not supposed to sell them. That just like how it's not easy to sell a house that needs to be remodeled. You can't. You're supposed to be put in this lane that separates you from the general population. But see, and that's how you really know. If you really want to know women that are on the team and women that are not on the team, see if they got the balls to say that. Or not balls, because we don't do no transgender here. But see if they got the fortitude to say that. Yes, Crimson Cure will say that. Pink Book will say that. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know. Shout out to Nurse Nerd. I don't even know if Nurse Nerd will go that far. Because, see, in order for them to say that, they got to be able to write off women that they identify with or women that are their friends for the betterment of the community. And a lot of women are not willing to do that. And so you have a lot of these women that are like in the middle where they try to have it both ways, where they depend on dudes to want to care about if they're happy and bullshit and not tell them this is what the fuck it is. You may not like it, but this is what it is. This is why. It doesn't matter if you like it. And this is why I brought up when JR in the Lapeef show was saying what he was saying about, when he was saying about men getting divorced. He didn't like that narrative. And it's like, it doesn't matter how you feel. How you feel is irrelevant because a community is not built. The foundations are not built on how someone feels. It's about what it is. And what they want is black men to care more about how a woman feels than her logic. And this is why Alan Roger Curry's book, The Possibility of Sex, is so important, because it really doesn't go far enough. Because what Alan Roger Curry's book talks about is a possibility of sex in the context of you actually pursuing sex. A lot of these niggas are so fucked up that they actually believe sex is on the table when the conversation has nothing to do with sex. So no matter what conversation we're having, no matter if it's in a digital space, dudes are talking as if sex with a woman is on the table. This is one of the main reasons a lot of you niggas always complaining about Jessica X. That's that manifest. Now that's not Jessica's fault. That's the bullshit that these niggas are on fault. A lot of them. But that's what I know you all are complaining about. But hey, can't do nothing about that. Let's go.
It's not a thug. It's because, as Dave Chappelle says, she didn't like her cut. She's like, hey, I'm supposed to be getting more reward out of this. You son of a bee. No, you're a thug too. You're birds of a feather. If your father is a no good reprobate, your mama's the female reprobate. Just call it what it is. But you cannot do that if you are stuck in a psychological dysfunction. But your mother is no.
Doesn't that sound like rescue hound syndrome? Does that not sound like this is I want y'all to understand this. This is a 4-year. You can't find this on his stuff because he cut out a lot of his videos. Like he privatized them. And to be fair, he did that because his channel was under attack. And there's a lot of good stuff that he did. Some of it may be on the damn Patreon. Jason Black's got a decent Patreon. I'm not even gonna front. I would definitely you all would not be wasting your money by going in there. But doesn't that sound like rescue hound syndrome? And doesn't that sound like a lot of the Negroes are coming here with that bullshit today? Because the truth is, a lot of the women can do what they do because we got a lot of dudes basically co-signing that shit. And this is 4 years way before Kevin started doing this shit. But see, here's the problem. The problem is economically, you can't constantly do shit like this because economically, there's a lot of women that support Jason. And if you don't equalize it, this is why when Kevin said, and I know he'd probably get mad at me mixing him in, I don't give a fuck. If Kevin Samuels did 2 videos that are very solid, he did one talk about people saying he's gay, and he did another one before that, which I haven't seen, and he did another one before that talking about people saying he hates black women. And one of the consistent things that comes up is women would say, well, why don't you talk about the men? Because and it's like, if you're worried about black women talking about black men talking about the men, you're not really listening to what he's saying when it's time to talk to you. because black men will listen to Jason Black and hear what he has to say about the men. We have no problem hearing both sides of it, especially if we understand that somebody is actually speaking to both sides and not just, trying to kind of act like they are. And Jason does speak to both sides for the most part. You could argue he's 60-40 but he's still within that range, in my opinion. At least back then he was. Before it became about competing with other motherfuckers. But yeah. But they're not really hearing that. And Jason has spoke on this too. Of people that men that call in that upset about when it's time to talk about the men, and women that are calling when they're upset, it's time to talk about the women.
Better than your father. Unless you tell yourself in your mind that I'm going to perform the mental jujitsu necessary to deceive myself into believing that he was no good, but she was attracted to a no good man. However, she was perfectly pure and righteous. Daddy was evil and iniquitous. Mommy was attracted to him. Rolling around in, by the way, Mr. Elder, your mama was sitting up here gapping them legs for him well before any of you and your siblings were born. So your daddy, he was mean-spirited and stuff. That's the way your mama gets down.
And this is why dudes are so vulnerable to believing the lies of women when women come in and they play like they're victims, because the dudes are already predispositioned to want to believe that. They want to believe that mommy was a victim. I'm gonna say this. This is horrible that I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna say it because this is how much you niggas are fucked up. You know what? I'm gonna say it in a different way. I actually forget that I'm not saying this to be like to slick this, but the dude that was calling me a bitch ass nigga that he whooped my ass, dude is like 19, 21 years old. I forgot his name. It doesn't matter. You know the nigga that was doing that. And he used to be on Roger Report. He talked about how he got kicked out of his house by his mom because the dude that she was fucking with, I guess put his hands on her, and then he wanted to whoop his ass. What you're not going to say about that story, because Angry Man had to come in there, Charles Faulkner had to come in there. It became like a really interesting thing. And what didn't get said was for him to jump on him that quick, meaning he was already feeling some type of way about the dude being there in the first place. That's what didn't come. And another thing was he was saying how he was having dreams and fantasies about doing something to the dude, which is why I come back to that very first statement I just made. You got a lot of dudes that they want to believe that black men are sexually assaulting their mothers. Because this is this hatred that black men have for each other. They manifest in black on black crime. They manifest in black men not being able to work together, and manifest with black men are always in open competition with each other because the dudes are out here trying to compete for favor of the bitches. This is the game. This is where black men have to be absolutely accountable for this shit too. This is why when dudes always talk about pussy and always talk about, the greatest measure of yourself, they imply the greatest measure of yourself is the compliance of that bitch. This is where you niggas are dumb, because you can't blame the women for you all being like over 25 and still or over 40 and buying into that mentality. This is why whenever black men get mad, what is it that black men go to? What bitches you got? This is why somebody like Minister Jap can say some of the shit he says, and he don't get a lot of pushback from other dudes because he shows his bitches. And so that has been satisfied by you all. But a lot of you all want to believe that if your mother is with bad men, you can't accept that your mother was a hoe and your mother was in that life. I'm not saying you got to say your mother was a hoe, but you can't accept that your mother was in that life. You gotta say that your mother was a victim. And when you start to believe that, you start to have this built-in encased anger and hatred towards other men. See, women don't do that. Women do the opposite. Women will accept the bullshit that comes from the elder women and code up and own those curses because they can pass those curses on to their daughters later on when they become elders. Black men don't do that. What we do is we see black men as the problem. deep down, which is why dudes are always coming. And BGS is in the chat. Who are you responding to, BGS, when you made not this video but your original video? Because this is designed to promote the video you just put up like an hour or two ago. I wanted people to understand, because they don't go in your archives like that. This shit is not new. This is not new shit, and it's not just coming from one person.
Can we tell the truth? That's the way your mama got down. Barack Obama, that's the way your mama got down, dude. At least Tupac didn't have any illusions about what his mother was. Even as the crack fiend, mama, at least he didn't have any illusions about what she was.
Oh, that nigga. Yeah. Dude, BGS, he's dodging you. He wants to pick a fight with me. And I'm like, nigga, go to the source. You want to be educated? You want the sources? I'm not the nigga to talk to. You know, I'm just a nigga that runs his mouth. You go to the source. If you want to run your mouth, go to the source. He don't want to go to the source. He don't want to go to you. He don't want to go to Ronald. He don't want to go to Green Gorilla. He don't want to go to Dr. Before you get to Dr. T and Sean, you're gonna have to go through the other at least some of the other three. He don't want to do that. What he want to do is pick a fight with me. He want to call BGS. He want to call me beloved. He want to call me Fifis. He want to do that. That's what he wants to do. That's what he wants to do. That's why I ignored his ass.
He didn't sit there and say, well, she was this perfect queen. He didn't say that. He didn't have to air all the dirty laundry, but he made it clear that he understood that this woman was not perfect. He didn't give her a pass like that. So if you're unwilling to face the reality, then no wonder nothing gets better. So I wanted you all to hear that there. If you have any coons, whether it's Christian.
And that's another thing. And there's a difference between accepting your mom for the good and the bad and the ugly. Accepting your mother, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And which I definitely think all black men should do. And then you putting this godlike status on her, accepting her for what she did for you, but understanding she's a human being, and then you all creating this godlike status. And let's be and a lot of you all, even the dear mama syndrome, you're absolutely, most of y'all can't accept that y'all moms were crack fiends or hoes. Y'all can't accept that. Y'all literally block that out in your own brain, because you all know that psychologically you cannot handle that.
The fraud, whether it's Larry Elder, whether it's Jesse Lee Peterson.
The fraud. That's Tommy Sotomayor. That used to always make me laugh when he used to say that, looking back.
You go and track them down and see what they're.
Before there was a kitten, there was a fraud. I still think that kitten shit is some bitch shit, because I do not believe he would say that to his face. I do believe he would call Tommy a fraud to his face.
Their relationships with their fathers are like. And down the line, you will find an absolutely disreputable mother at the core of it. But in the coon mind, it is about reconciling with this broken, corrupted mother image, as opposed to simply letting it go.
And that means that most of your pro-blacks, by definition of that, most of your pro-blacks are coons. By Jason Black's definition, most of your pro-blacks are coons.
But because they refuse to let it go, they instead end up in this vicious, endless cycle, talking like this. And by the way, he's sitting in a room, mostly of white men, talking about fatherhood. And here's the real problem that the coon mind doesn't understand. You cannot sit here and viciously savage the image of black men without savaging yourself. Now, you can tell yourself that you are separate and apart. This is what coons always do. And this goes to the next cause of coonery. Coons see themselves as an other. They're not white, but they're not quite black either. You hear this?
Yeah, so I'm not going to play this over and over, because I'm going to put this in the link. I'll share this. In fact, I'm going to share it now. You all can check it out. So I've shared both of the videos. Y'all know where it's at. I'm not going to, but my point, and I'm glad BGS did that, because you got dudes like CJM, a lot of y'all that y'all need kind of a quick, like, up the speed, where if y'all want to know why it is we do what we do in 20 minutes or less, and that, look, that shit seems, you know me, especially somebody that talks long-winded, yeah, I can always appreciate a Cliff Notes. Yeah, but at the end, that's important. But going back to the SYSBM divested thing, you all have to understand that black women are divesting. But see, the thing that black women say that black men are doing is actually what they're doing. When they say, oh, y'all are dating white women because y'all want to be white men, that's actually, they're projecting. That's what they think. Black men are not thinking about being white men. That's not what black men think about. Black men, that's actually what makes us a threat. Even like somebody like Xanatos Clutch. Xanatos Clutch is not thinking, I want to be like a white man. That's not how Xanatos thinks. It doesn't really enter into the mind of Ado's black men. Oh, well, I want the status of white men. Yeah, we want to get what we put in as Americans, but we're not out here trying to be white men. Even dudes that you would argue are trying to assimilate, even an Anthony Bryan Logan or a Brandon Tatum, it doesn't enter into our brains. We want to be white men. That's some shit women think, because women operate on this sexual hierarchy to get free benefits. Black men just don't want to be fucked with if we're not doing shit that basically warrants us being fucked with. If we're following the law and doing what we're supposed to do, we expect to not to get what the fuck we pay taxes to do shit for. This is why a lot of black men, you don't see them really caping for folks to get caught up in the criminal system. A lot of guys, because they're like, they did what they did. That is what they is. Either they did it directly, or they were involved in some way. Now that may not be true, but even guys, nobody's out here like, well, I want to be a white man and I'm fucking a white woman because I want to be a white man. No, this is how black women think. And this is why you see a lot of even 980s black women asking black women, why do you stay behind? Because they don't understand a black female's motivations for not doing that. And I'm talking about selfish. I'm not talking about for the community, because this is how a lot of these women operate, because they're coming at it from a different perspective. SYSBM, and look, I'm not here to be an arbiter of SYSBM. This is my opinions. Mad Bus Driver created it, so you refer to him to whatever he says. I'm telling you from my perspective. Of talking about black men that are doing what's in their best interest. You can call it SYSBM, you can call it Black Male First, you call it what the fuck you want to call it. You know, it is about saying you are not going to use the community as a weapon to try to make me do some shit that ultimately does not benefit me. And as somebody that does understand the community dynamics, or will say to be pro-black, is it is on the community. It's on the burden is on the community to incentivize black men to stay and invest. This is not no angel investor bullshit. It is not on the black, or it's on the black community to be honest and tell black men, we expect a generation of you all to sacrifice yourselves. And I'm not going to force you all to do it or influence you all to do it. The ones that want to step, like, it's on black the community to say this is a suicide mission, and I'm not gonna make you all order you all to do this, but the ones that want to step up, step up. The ones that want to do something else, I'm not gonna have no hard feelings and let them go. But see, y'all won't do that because y'all know y'all will lose not only most of the black men, but you'll definitely lose the best ones. The best ones are just going to take their talents to South Beach like LeBron and then go ahead and do what they do. You know that. You know that. So what you all do is you lie. I'm talking about black men. You lie. You lie. You lie to other black men. You lie to your sons. You lie to your sons to protect your daughters. Because in your mind, that's what you're doing. And I want you to understand. And see, Jason Black understands it. Professor Black Truth understands it. This is why I always say you got to solve the bitch, because the bitch is the key. The bitch is the one that basically is the one really working for the white man. And so whenever somebody wants to sit here and say you need to go ahead, like when these niggas talk about you need to overturn white supremacy, they know they can't. They know that's never going to happen. They know that is not going to happen. Not African Americans are not going to do it. We don't have the numbers. So when they play that game, they're really being suicidal. And they're doing that. Notice they don't talk about competing and creating a competing entity. No, they're talking about getting rid of it, because they're speaking through the voice of, they're speaking through that bitch, because that's what that bitch wants, because she's upset about her status. But at the end of the day, like Jason Black said, she was colluding. he didn't go as far as to say this, but a lot of these women, BGS says this, they're colluding, and they're doing it today. They're playing both sides of it. They're doing the same thing that a lot of these non-ADOS people do. The same thing. This is why we can understand what they're doing a lot better. They don't understand how much we understand because we deal with it with our own women. Because I don't give a fuck what you say. Non-ADOS black men do not deal with this shit at the level we deal with it. Not to the extent where they're just completely overriding them. They don't do that. They come over here and they try to play fast and loose with other black men, but they don't completely write their own men, like betray their own men like that, because they understand there's dire consequences that come with that. And if it ain't them, somebody they know is going to pay that bill. That black women don't believe that, because black men black women are cuddled up with white men. So I may hear a lot of these women out, but the reality is that's always in the background. And a lot of these women, what they do is they look for men that are stupid, or men that want to emotionally believe. This is why they say your mama black. They say your mama black exactly what Jason Black was talking about. That's why they say that, because they are trying to invoke the spirit of your mother. Because they know that's that dear mama rescue hound syndrome. They know what they are doing. This ain't no accident. They may be doing it on autopilot, but they very much know. I'm not about to be drafting no stepdaddy season. I don't know why you even saying that. They know what they're doing. And a lot of you niggas, y'all know they know what they're doing, but you all refuse to see it. So you do like that old nigga, not Obsidian, but that other old nigga. And you try to create all this fucking bullshit. George Macon does the same thing, create the literature and all that, because you all want to create all this smoke so you all can't see clearly what the fuck is really going on. You all can't see that. You all don't want to see it because you know what it is. Because you know how insurmountable that shit actually is. Because you know how committed that female is. And go listen to BGS's shit. Like, for real. And a lot of y'all come in here, y'all new motherfuckers, y'all will come in here on some, the shit is the same. Because y'all, quite frankly, I'm going to just say it like this. Y'all don't know shit. Y'all don't know shit. Most of y'all ain't read shit. And the ones that have read, y'all misread the shit. Y'all read the shit on some confirmation bias shit. Because y'all can't accept that the shit ain't gonna be fixed. Y'all just gotta keep hope alive. So y'all bend shit from what it really is. So y'all wanna, like, even the CJ, shout out to CJ, but CJ was asking all these questions. Motherfuckers always ask questions, say, I'm asking it for the audience. No, you're not. You're asking it for you. Because you're having an internal monologue in your own head, and then we're supposed to be a part of that. So you're asking us to piggyback off of that because you're emotionally struggling with the shit that we already know, because we've already been through this. We've been through this. And quite frankly, this, I didn't need to be red pill. I always kind of saw some of this. It's just I didn't realize necessarily how far back it went. And so a lot of these guys, they are invested in lying. And it may not be what I call absolute lies, but they will create a lot of, it's like, okay, if you're trying to get to the bottom, the ocean floor, let's say you're trying to get to the Titanic. They have this 2 miles of bullshit, and it may be certain degrees of bullshit. And then the deeper you get, the more pressure it is because of the, pressure per square inch, because that's the weight of the water. And this is where the bullshit starts to happen with black men, where they start to do the ad hominems and bullshit because you're getting closer to the ocean floor. Their job in any of these conversations is to never get to the fucking bottom of shit. It's not just pro-black. It's a lot of different situations. Because if you get to the bottom of shit, now people got to reveal what their real intention is. And this is why motherfuckers don't like me. Because as much as I talk, they know if I'm talking, I'm explaining all their bullshit away. And then if I want to get real quick, I can ask the question I need to ask in one question. Is the black community of patriarchy, matriarchy, gynocracy, something else? When has the black community been a patriarchy? And then people want to start telling stories. That's what that old dude did. He wants to tell a story. He wants to tell me a story to get me. And I know this because I'm a marketer. Facts tell, stories sell. He wants to tell me a story to come to not answer the question and to come to his conclusion. Motherfucker, you can tell me a story after you answer the question. But he never answers the question. There's a reason for that. Anybody, they can tell you a story, but if you can't answer my question, what did the fucking architect do? That white dude with Neo. He said all that bullshit, and Neo said, you didn't answer my question. Oh, interesting. You're faster than the others. Nigga, I'm not doing that. If I was gonna do the stepdaddy game, I would have did that now. I'm not gonna wait till 40. I don't know why y'all niggas. What do y'all think? Y'all niggas think that the niggas are gonna want bitches around so much? The statistics don't show that. Statistics show the longer black men actually don't get married, the less likely they are to get married. Not the niggas that are playing stepdaddy are niggas that are getting remarried and shit. But anyway, I'm not gonna come off of my shit. Shout out to Matrix Explain. He does a very good job. That white dude does a very good job explaining a lot of the Matrix shit outside of the context of like what we say. But yeah, man. The reality is y'all need to check that video out. Y'all need to understand that. And like I said, and when people try to tell you the SYSBM and the divester movement, these females, first of all, these women can't divest. When they divest, they pretty much create for the most, outside of a couple exceptions, they pretty much become bottom tier. They know this. So just because you got some mayors here and there or some people in high governmental positions, that don't mean jack shit. That's just some shit that they'll try to make it look like to make it sound good. That's like 1 out of 100, if that. Shout out to Justin March with the super sticker. That's like 1 out of 100, if that. Most of them are basically just getting basically bottom shelf non-black men. And then a lot of these dudes resent them later because a lot of these bottom shelf non-black men may not be bottom shelf forever. Some of them may well get their shit together, and then they even resent the fact. So again, and when you listen to what they say, black men are talking about getting the best deal. Black women, and David Carroll talked about this too. Black women basically are the ones that fucked up the black community by fucking up kids, by saying they could raise kids without a man. And now they want to run away from the very community they created. That's really what it is. And see, you understanding this is a gynocracy and you don't have this influence because black women have colluded with white women and white men by proxy for this. You understand. So for them to come back understanding this, and see, this is the shit that won't get talked about in the Lil Peep show. Because, you got Anton that really, Anton's views on race, you can't really have that conversation. And then he'll try to call this the victim Olympics. No, I understand how we got here and the history of the pool that he's talking about pulling from. I understand that. So when you see these women come in here on a bullshit, yeah, they may individually be on what they on, but as a collective group, I can see the bigger perspective on that. So when you see Courtney do the shit she do, Kay do the shit she do, see how Kay and them react the way they react to Vera talking about black culture in this, knowing what I know, you see how full of shit that shit actually is. Even a Danica Marie, you see how full of shit they are. Yeah, y'all can say the right things, to a certain extent, but there's still an agenda behind why you say what you say. Even if you are saying some of the right things about coming at the women, you still not really going far enough. You not. And it's all designed to get black men to come back to the table to benefit you. Y'all are not saying how y'all need to get right to benefit us, because at the end of the day, your job is to be a helpmate. Even to the nigga you with. Yo, I bet you, if you ask her who run the relationship, if you really asked her, do you really think her husband run her? Do you really think her husband run the nigga? Do you really think that they are led by the leadership mantle of what her husband is laid down? Do you think Six Goddess runs that shit? Like, for real. And you just supposed to ignore all of that just to preserve the genetic integrity of the race. Nigga, there's billions of there's like 500-600 million black women. If it's a genetic problem, if it's a hardware problem, then we can solve that. Like, for real. You don't even got to leave the United States, really. And I'm not saying that that's paved. That's like a candy cake, a road to be paved in. Because you got to sift through a lot of these 980s black women that's full of shit. But it ain't no different than what the fuck we doing now. It's easier. Sifting through their bullshit is easier than what we deal with right now. Especially if you somebody that's productive. And that's what doesn't get talked about. Well, when I say hardware, I mean like the genetic part. And so we try to make the shit like, yeah, I understand that there's some where the white women at, like duking it, but a lot, and see this, and this shout out to Tariq. A lot of these non-ADOS black men be the main ones that's on that where the white women at bullshit. Most black men are not really fucking bewitched by white women because we've had a proximity to them for long enough. That's them that are bewitched by white women. The thing ADOS black men got to worry about is being bewitched by femininity that they've never really had to deal with because black women have all these issues that, by the way, BG has discussed in this video with black men. And people will say, well, that's the history. Okay, like if I take, okay, and because they'll say, oh, well, that's the history. That's why we don't get along. So it ain't their fault. Okay, it may not be their fault. That doesn't mean I should give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if that black female disrespects me and I know I'm not one to be disrespected. I do not give a fuck about why. If this group respects me, this group doesn't. I'm not going to sit here and then say, especially if this group is more on point than this group, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, it's my job to change that bitch. And that's really the argument that we go back and forth with. You got dudes that really are saying that black women view black men a certain way because black men have failed. Well, my answer to that is black women need to just go and find a better dude and shut the fuck up. Because if it's really not their problem, if it's really not them that are at fault, if they are not the problem, then they shouldn't have problem. Then if they are not the actual variable, that's the issue, then they should be, and black men are the variable, they should just switch the variable and they get better results. They can't do that. And they won't do that because they know what time it is. This is why you'll see black men tell black women, go do better then. Because black men ain't worried about it because we know what time it is. You won't see black women say, well, y'all need to shut the fuck up talking about black women, and just go date out then. You will never hear a black female say that shit. Even a black woman that swirls, you will never hear them say that. Because they understand what those dynamics are. They understand that you 6% of the population. They understand. They're not stupid. They may try to act like they don't know these things. They know these things, which is why when I press them on it, they always act like they don't want to say shit. And a lot of these niggas give a fuck more about these women being happy than getting the truth, which is why they don't say certain things, even though they know there ain't questions to be asked. So we try to make it seem like, oh, Sysbm, white women are better. And this is, nobody's out here, and shout out to Clutch, he's in here. Clutch ain't sitting here saying, oh, run for white women are better. Non-black women are better. You don't got to worry about this. No, this is why I always say Clutch is Mr. Sysbm, because he'll tell you the truth about it. It's about class. There's motherfuckers everywhere that's on the bullshit. It's about the culture shit, regardless of what race you deal with. Sysbm ain't out here preaching date out because dating out is perfect. That's not the point. And that's what, and people like to imprint that is just like divesting because again, that's a way to absolve black women from divesting. No. You want to eliminate Sysbm or degrade Sysbm? Fix that black bitch. But since we know that's not going to happen, it ain't nothing to worry about. We know that what is the main promoter of Sysbm? Black female fuckery. And think about it. And then I'm gonna wrap this up. Think about it. Black female fuckery is actually, you would think after all this shit that the manosphere has talked about, black female fuckery would be going down. Like the promotion of it, the advertising of it, the think about it. I ask you this. Now I showed you that video of Jason Black and the guy and all that bullshit. And that was back in the Obama years. Like right towards the end of the Obama presidency. I got a question. Do you all see, like, press 1 if you see more black female fuckery now, or press 2 if you see more black female fuckery like 5 years ago? Or no, fuck that. Press 1 if you see more black female fuckery post-COVID, or press 2 if you see more black female fuckery pre-COVID. Do that right now. In fact, I'm gonna make that a poll maybe tomorrow. With TikTok and all that, I only got one answer. I mean, I already know what the answer. You see so much more black female fuckery now. And then you got these Z's that are getting older. You know, Smurgo is what I call a bleeding edge millennial and Z, because he's 25. You see these Z's getting older, and they see black female fuckery early because they didn't get the filter. See, the Z's didn't get the filter we all got. They didn't get the filter we all got. Like me and Clutch, we got a filter from the bullshit a little. Well, maybe not Clutch, because he was in the DMV, so he was scarred early. But we got a filter for some of this shit. A lot of y'all, the Z's didn't. These women would want some whole shit already because they came up during the Nicki Minaj era, where it was pretty much like, we gonna let the shit go all the way out. And so what you essentially have is you have dudes that are basically, they can't handle it, so they're in delusion. It doesn't matter what women. What you have now is dudes. It doesn't matter what women do. They're gonna say, well, there's this idea. Like they're gonna be like fucking Nick Fury, Samuel Jackson. There was a dream called the Avengers Initiative. There was a dream called the Good Black Woman. And even though I don't see it, somewhere, somehow, some way, it's out there. So I'm going to assume because it's one, they're all like, so you got dudes that are basically in delusion. They're in delusion. And if you're in delusion, if you don't see a problem for what it is, you can't solve it. And you have a lot of black people that think they don't have to solve a problem. And they're in delusion. The biggest promoter of the black manosphere is black female fuckery. And black female fuckery, black women are not getting smarter. They're not listening to the Danica Maries or the 6 goddesses of the world and getting smarter and covering the shit up. No, they got to put their dick on the table and tell you that this is who, I'm the man. They want to play the I'm the captain now bullshit. They can't help it. That's why they can't help but go on Kevin Samuels and say they cannot help but go. The black women are like, why you keep going to Kevin Samuels? Because they can't help it. They can't help it. They can't help it. And you're starting to see dudes. They can't help but show you what it is. That dude couldn't help himself but say that the woman that killed his son was a good mom. They can't help it. You're seeing, and David Carroll talked about the mental illness of black women, in particular black people in general. They cannot help it. That's the trick. They can't help it. They can't help but tell you black men ain't shit. They can't help but tell you you're a narcissist. Like all these videos now, it ain't just World Star. It's everywhere. All these videos, they cannot help it. And then you say, oh, but that's not online. Well, what about the comment sections of people co-signing it? Like, y'all want to really act like these are bots and shit? Y'all want to play that card the Dems play? They cannot help it. Exactly, Smurgo. Because the thing is, the shit we say, if anything, we sugarcoat shit. Jap is probably more in line with how we really should be talking. Jap and David Carroll. We sugarcoat a lot of shit. See, I know my brother is like Smurgo's age, my youngest brother. I know what the fuck he was dealing with when I got out of high. Like, I know what he was coming into. I know where these motherfuckers were going. And I saw it once I was basically 28 and he was 18. I saw what he was dealing with, and my brother, his grandmother is Japanese, so he looked black, he light skinned with the good hair, none of the like issue, the Asian issues people would have. 5'8", good hair, light skinned. The black women like him, just like what BGS talk about the fucking features. They damn near pinned him against the wall by his throat, saying I've seen what they've done. That's why a lot of y'all be out here for, oh, well, you ain't getting like, nigga, please. And you notice that a lot of these motherfuckers, outside of a couple of people, you never see a lot of these pro-blacks say black female fuckery is what's fucking y'all up is black women. Y'all need to learn how to cover that shit up. Y'all need to learn how to start checking y'all women to protect the image of black women. You'll never hear these niggas talk about it. What they're trying to do is in their opinion, they want to get in the front with all their hands out and their arms out like they doing something. Like now, it's not the dudes promoting hoe shitting women. Now it's other women, and other women are trying to outcompete the dudes. And here's the thing, because it's women telling them that, they are absorbing that a lot more thoroughly than when the dudes were saying it. Because you can't say that women, oh, well, you're sexual. You can't tell a woman she's sexualizing other women, which is why you got Chloe Bailey doing what she doing. Because now you got Chloe Bailey doing it, which is getting that next step. No, you're absolutely right, Xanatos Clutch. That is absolutely spot on. You're right. That is the only reason why they can do that. But a lot of dudes don't do it because we ain't trying to air black women out like that. Because quite frankly, we just don't care to. But the point is, and I'm at an hour now. The point is, man, like, let me see. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely check out the video because it's a really good, like, kind of, you know how you watch episodes and they be like previously on this and they try to update you, like in the season finale, they update you pretty much on the whole season. That's pretty much what BGS did in that video. And it's really something that's a great video that's great to share with anybody because it's not, you know, it gives you the history going all the way back to slavery, because people like to always, you know, use slavery as this like ex machina. They like to be like, oh, well, you know, because of slavery, we need to just forgive them. No, this shit starts when they came up in here. The reason they came up in here. This is what the truth is. And what I'm telling you is I'm telling you, you should not be burdened and guilted. They need to incentivize black men to do shit. Because it ain't our community. It ain't our community. And this is, like I said, this is shit you will never hear on a Lapeef show. You will never hear this shit on a Lapeef show. And they'll try to act like you'll never hear this. Because they can't answer this. This shit cannot be answered. And again, this is why I tell the black conservative, shout out to conservative, Lil Big Nate and them, why people like me and BGS are a lot more dangerous to pro-blacks than they are. Because all they gonna say is racism don't exist. And then all they gotta do is call you a coon, and most black people are not gonna listen. We actually know the receipts. We know the receipts. Just like when Dr. Umar Johnson said black women don't run the black community. Black women are managers of the black community for the white man. That's the same thing. That is the same fucking thing. That's exactly what I said. They are the man. They are the manager. Gynocracy is powered by white supremacy. So Umar has basically said what I said, and I would love to hear that nigga go against what Umar said. Umar knows. That's what I was telling you. These niggas know. They know. The pastors know. They ain't no different than the pastors. They ain't no different. They know. They know. The Lapeef show, yeah, you right, Jim Rat, and that's not gonna be repaired because the reason why what they're doing, look, their shit is an infotainment entertaining show, so it will be successful on that front. But as far as repairing bonds, please, them, the roommate, they're not doing that shit because ultimately their job is to make money. Their job is not really to fix shit. Their job is to make money. And if money is always going to take precedent. I'm not mad at them. That is what it is. But also, they're really not willing to tell the whole truth about how we got here. If you can't tell the truth about how we got, it's like saying we need to do a remodel on a house, but the foundation needs to be fixed. But we're not going to talk about the foundation because we don't have that in the budget to fix. There's a TV show, I forget what it's called, but it's one that I've been watching a little bit as background when I'm doing what I'm doing in the office. And it's a show about new house flippers and what they go through. Because, that shit's going to fuck them up more than other people because they don't have the budget based on flips that they've done before. I mean, she's all right. I mean, I've seen her channel. I mean, the Amir chick, will say this, if it was me, I would have put a 980s person on that show, but they picked who they picked, and she does serve a purpose on there. I've kind of given what my thoughts was on that, so I'm not going to go into that now. I may do a comment, put it in the comment section. I may reply to a comment personally. Yeah, Anti does have potential if he can stop, if he can step off that smug bullshit. He really does. And I don't know. I don't really think. I think Glendon. The reason why Glendon can do that, and Glendon doesn't do it in the same way, is because I think Glendon does it with. First of all, Glendon has a lot of free information on his channel. And I think Glendon does it with a better spirit of helping people than what Anton does. So I don't know. Yeah, like Gen Z has been scarred. Jim Rat said some dude on the Lapeef. I don't know if it was that King nigga, and then you got to realize too, a lot of these niggas don't know what not Anton and them, but a lot of these niggas that say basic shit, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're talking on a very surface level. They don't know what they don't know. They don't know. They're dumb. They don't. I won't say they're dumb. They're ignorant. They don't understand history and shit. So there's a lot. You got to determine, okay, why is this nigga saying this shit? Some dudes on the Lapeef the other day was implying black women don't respect it because we don't build anything for them. Most black men are lost cause for real. Yeah, and that's always the go-to argument. That's always the go-to argument. Because my argument that I would make too is, if you compare African American women with fuck the Africa. Let's talk about African American women with other black women of the diaspora. Those black men get the least amount of respect from their women than I would argue any black man. I would argue our women respect us less than Haitian women respect Haiti. Haitian men. Yet we have what we have. So that argument is mute. And my argument is, if black women don't respect black men, why are you having sex with men you don't respect? Why are you having children by men you don't respect? Then by definition, you need to go date out and go be great. Or you should be going and getting 980s black men, which they do not do. So when dudes say that, I can tell these niggas have not really thought that through. And I've had these conversations at the barbershop. And I always get hesitant to really give people that know me personally to give them this shit because they'll feel some type of way about what I'm saying because they can't just accept it for what it is. But I would say some of this shit at the barbershop. And dude, if you say, come on, man, motherfuckers always asking me, do I need a talk show and shit? Because they don't know I have a YouTube channel. Because the shit that I'm saying is some shit that they've never even considered before, no matter what their age. And I'm because I've had somebody say that bullshit. And I said, dude, okay, I got a question for you. Do you think, which group do you think, and do you think the Islanders get more respect from their women? Why? They haven't built anything. Anything that, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. Fuck you if you feel some type of way. Tell me, prove me it's a lie. What have anybody from the islands built? Pick an island. All the hotels and shit, that shit white people built. And you don't see their women disrespecting them like that because that's not the issue. The issue is they don't have a choice. Most of what Africa is built is either by China or by maybe a couple of countries are exceptions to this, or either by China or either old infrastructure the Brits did. Colonial infrastructure. Am I wrong? So this is bullshit. So when people say that, that's some shit they say because, again, that's that coonery Jason Black was talking about. They can't square with your women betrayed you, so they got to create reasons. It's got to be reasons. Liberia built Firestone tires. Nigga, that was African Americans because African Americans were in Liberia. So that's us, even if I give you that premise. Exactly, Flip. The Latins really ain't built shit either. Truth be told. Like, as far as in their countries. Like, ain't no bastard. Like, you can argue, like, you can say what the Arabs have, or you can say what, like, Dubai is built. So that's a bullshit ass argument, which is why I tell black women that make it, go date out. Then go get the better man. Because you telling motherfuckers they ain't built ain't going to make niggas want to build. Go date out then. And what I tell dudes the same thing with black women. Then black women need to just go date out. Because my thing is, and then another thing I tell black men to say that shit is, so you telling me a black woman has a right? Have you built anything? Yeah, I got this, I got that. So you think a black woman has a right to disrespect you individually? Because of what they think another nigga ain't done? Another thing too that I'll ask with that, and then I'll wrap this up, is this. So do black men, like, this is how you really want to get these niggas. If you want to really get these niggas, this is how you get these niggas. I got one for you. Ask a nigga, the next nigga to ask you that or say that, if you're having these conversations, ask them this. Ask them, so is there anything that black women have done or not done that gives black men the right to disrespect them? So do black men just have this right to disrespect black women just out the gate? Well, no, why not? Because you make it sound like black women have done everything right and black men just fucked up. Well, what I'm saying is men are the ones that set the tone. So what you're saying is black women have the right to disrespect. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you why it is. Yeah, but you're kind of accepting it by saying that. Because you seem like you don't really feel some type of way about black women disrespecting all black men. But even though they're fucking black men that are not building, most of the kids are had by niggas that don't build. But whatever. But you tend to speak up when black men are quote unquote saying that black women are just pump and dump. You have a problem with that. And you don't understand the whys behind that, right? And so again, they justify black female disrespect. The truth is, most men, no matter what the fuck they do, don't believe a woman has a right to disrespect them. Think about it. And I want you to think about this. White women will fuck the beat at all the shit. White men have arguably took over the world. Let these black motherfuckers tell it. And yet, somehow white women have the right to fuck black men and have kids by black men. So if motherfuckers that quote unquote built the world by the definition of these people still got white women that's betraying them in big numbers, whether it's here or in Europe where they're fucking a lot of Muslims, then what the fuck you think, man? That shit's a smoke screen. And it's always been that. Because the reality is that's the little get out of jail free card. Just say they haven't built anything. And they're not expecting you to say, well, then they just need to date out. Like I said, my answer to what you say to anybody was a dude or a woman. Why do black women have kids with black men in? Oh, well, because they loyal. Really? Because they put them same niggas on child support before they even have the child. That doesn't sound like loyalty. Well, them niggas they ain't taking care of their responsibility. You see how they always go back to, well, if they weren't gonna take care of their responsibility, she got to vet it for fatherhood. If black men don't build, black women shouldn't be having children with men that don't build. And so that tells you what does that tell you? So anyway, y'all, I'm done. I'm not about to but yeah, don't ever let somebody tell you the Sysbm and the Divester movement is the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's never been the same. It's not the same motivations. That's some shit. That's cap. That's cap. And people will say it for certain arguments' sake because it's something to say that satiates the women. It makes the women feel good, but that's the only purpose of them doing that. They're doing that because they need to placate the females. Like, they want to make a bigger point, and they don't want the women to basically have what I call emotional ejections. They eject from the video because they're emotionally triggered. So you got to say these little fucking disclaimers and shit to deal with their fucking triggered issues. Shout out to Smurgo. Well, you better check out the replay, check out some of my other streams because I'm out. This is the link to BGS's shit. Make sure y'all check it out. Make sure you all check. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Make sure on the road to 5,000. Make sure also you all check out my community tab because for the most part, I share other people's shit. You know, people I think you're gonna get value out of it. Check that out. Yeah. And I mean, and all this, like, you know, we just gone, make the women feel good and somehow, some way, I just hopes and prays they find religion, please. Nigga, I ain't about to do no 8-hour stream. I don't know. Y'all don't need to expect that shit. Don't be expecting that shit from me. All right, y'all. It's been great. So with that being said, it's a late night stream. This is Edward signing off. Peace.